It's about day 2. Another good stalk. 2 more good stalks. No. Was it 2? Yeah. Seen a lot of goats. Bigger goats than we've seen every other time we've been out here, I'd say. And we're seeing a lot of bucks by themselves. Probably because we're a little earlier than normal, so that's been helping a little bit as far as stalking. Hopefully we can just find another decent buck by himself. Make a couple stalks, fill the coolers up.
Afternoon of day 3, we're heading back out. Went back, got a little bite to eat, got some lunch in us. We're gonna go past this piece that I had a stalk on that giant buck yesterday. That'll be the first big piece of public that we go by, and we'll probably camp out on it for a minute, see if we can locate that buck. There's mainly 2 big antelope that we're kind of after. I mean, we're not gonna be picky by any means. We only have, you know, a few days, but we are mainly after 2 big bucks that we have found. We've found them both on public multiple times. One of them is the buck that I put a stalk on yesterday, and the other one is, we've just kind of been jokingly calling him Droppy. He has these flared out prongs that actually they look like they dip down a little bit, and he's got a horn on one side that curls forward instead of backward. So he's really cool. Those are the 2 by far the biggest antelope we've seen. But yeah, we actually did see him this morning when we were first heading out. So heading back out to finish off day 3. Hopefully we can have some luck. Hopefully we can get in a couple good stalks and close the deal. We found Big Hank just now, as we'll call him. And he's standing right out here. Got a little tiny snippet of phone scope footage of him. Problem is, he's not on public. I mean, he's still in the same area. We know he's here, but he's a little ways onto private. Good to know that he's still here, and we'll have to come back and try to get on him again, look at him again. We're gonna get on down the road after something else, try to find something else for right now.
Miss. He was bedded straight down here where we thought he was. I was looking at those does. There's does bedded down here. He popped up. We were like, he was straight in line with us. I thought it was over, and I ranged him at like 103, 104. And he surprisingly came up the hill and started walking right to me, like kind of trotting even. That's that same buck we've been chasing around on this piece. He like lives right around here. He made a bunch of scrapes up here the other day. I think he's the same buck that we chased yesterday morning. Just a total mess on my end, total debacle. He kept walking towards me, and he finally got within bow range, and he turned broadside, and I drew, and I just rushed the shot. When he turned, I was afraid that he was gonna bolt like that big buck did on, what was that, yesterday. As soon as that big buck turned yesterday, he took off, and I've watched that video 100 times. I didn't want that to happen. So as soon as he turned broadside, I drew back and just rushed the shot, rushed everything. So that stinks, because that was a pretty good opportunity. We got Mr. Big spotted again. And Jonathan's moving in for a stalk. Trying to give Jonathan some signals. Man, he's looking right this way. Jonathan's right below him. Oh no. He's flared up. I just heard him blow. He just blew again. Oh no. Dang. Man, that stinks. Well, I think he got pretty close. That's the third time we've stalked that buck. Just the way Jonathan and I do it generally as we're running around this country. Whoever starts first, the next person goes on a stalk. I go on a stalk, he goes on a stalk. We flip-flop, we go back and forth. Well, this was his turn, and I had already, just the way things had landed, I already got 2 stalks on this buck. And both of them happened yesterday, and I should have had it done, but we came back out this afternoon after lunch, found him again over here, just off of Public. And so we were gonna wait until we were gonna come back this evening. After we hunted this evening, if we didn't get anything, we were gonna come back this way and hopefully find him again and get a stalk in before the night was over. That's exactly what happened. We found him again. He was well onto Public. Got close. It's so freaking tough with these things, man. And there's not a stitch of sage on this piece of Public. It's all this short prairie grass, just rolling hills. So, I don't know. He's next to impossible, but he's a giant, so he's worth it. Jonathan's walking up now, so I'm gonna get his reaction and see what he has to say about it.
He was only within like, I ranged him at 98.
Oh.
I wasn't even gonna shoot out there in no man's land. But when I followed him, just to see if he went over the rise, because I mean you got to, you know, he was off Public by then anyways, and he was just standing there looking this way. So he's not going far. He'll be back, but I mean there was nothing. I just saw his horns, his head. That's all I could get, and then I had to rise up a little bit.
Really?
I heard him blowing.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
before
no,
I even rose up. So when I heard him, I'm like, well, I gotta do something. So I went ahead and rose up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to get a range, and yeah, it hit him right there. It could have been inaccurate, the range I got, because I could barely. But I mean, there's nothing else I was gonna hit out there. I don't even think he could see me at that point. He was looking this way, but so try him again tomorrow, hopefully. Hopefully he's back. Oh my God. Just spotted this nice buck. He's a few hundred yards away, but he may be in a stalkable position. Jonathan's moving in. He just went down a cut, leading down to this big drainage that this buck's sitting on top of a little knob. He's still got several hundred yards to cover, but so far so good. Well, unfortunately that didn't work. He smelled him first, definitely. And then he saw him. Antelope went again.
Afternoon of day 4. The game has changed. We've got, hopefully, a game changer in our arsenal now. Nice buck standing on the road here. Yeah, he'll do. We blew a couple hours. We went to a sporting goods store and bought this big moo cow stalker decoy that we both can fit behind and walk with, and hopefully will cover both of us. And I don't know, we're gonna put it to the test. We've got time's running out, and there's a ton of cattle all over this unit on a lot of the public pieces that we've been running around on, especially the one that Mr. Big has been on. There's a bunch of cattle on that one, and so obviously the idea is we're going to try to use this stalker decoy, especially on that piece if we can see him again, or another buck on that piece, because there's literally nothing to hide behind over there. There's no sage, no nothing. So if it helps us get an extra 10-20 yards closer than we have been, that's a big deal. Really hope that it works out for us and we can leave with a couple antelope in the back of the truck, but time will tell.
second we drew frickin' antelope tags, however long ago.
I cannot believe.
What just happened? We just stalked that buck from how far? Before I even say anything else, that shot was horrible. That was nothing to be proud of at all. Well, he ran down here and bedded right in this ditch. And I got to within like 45 yards and he put his head down. He was gonna expire right there. And I just didn't want to wait any longer. I wanted to put him out, you know. Threw his head up and looked right at me before I could get the second arrow in him, and jumped up and took off running. And that's all the farther he made it. He ran right down there and literally just tipped over. I was trying to get around the head of that blue cow, and I like hit the...
Oh yeah, and I was trying to... This thing closed on me, so I had to reopen it.
That's okay. That was so hard to do all that.
But then you had to turn around.
Well, that head was flying back and forth. It hit my bow, and it like flopped back, because I felt, as soon as I was releasing, I felt coming back this way. As soon as I released, I knew it was back. Before the arrow even hit him, I was like, oh, but thank God he didn't. He expired quickly. That's all that I care about.
That's an awesome buck, man.
Jonathan.
That is an awesome buck.
I love these things so much, man. Look at how cool that freaking thing is. Thank you so much, buddy. Unbelievable. Dude, he has part of a horn growing out of his nose. Look at that. I cannot believe that this actually worked. This is day 4 of our public land Wyoming pronghorn bow hunt. Here we sit on a small piece of public land, and we finally decided today, you know what, we've got a couple days left. Let's see if we can find one of these moo cow stalker decoys. Came back to this piece of public looking for this big buck that we've been after, and we went up this little rise, and we spotted this nice buck way off. How far do you think he was away, Jonathan? 500?
Probably 7.
Probably 7. There was another buck down there, and there was a few does. This buck was with a few does. We lost him for a little bit. We came up over a rise. We saw him again. When we keep walking in, we're getting closer. It ranged him at 60 something.
66, I think.
66. And I was getting antsy. I was thinking about taking a shot, and he turned, and I don't know if you got any of that on camera. Probably not. Probably couldn't. Jonathan's hand was holding the decoy on both sides, and the wind's blowing pretty good. He comes running right at us, basically. Not right at us, but I mean diagonal right to us. And so I'm scrambling, trying to get my rangefinder out. I range him at 43 yards, and I draw back, and I come around the side of that, and he's looking right at me, perfectly broadside. I don't know how I botched that shot up, but I knew it was a deadly shot, and he was going to expire pretty quickly. The rest is history. I'm just completely obsessed with pronghorn. They are impossible to stalk with a bow and get within bow range. You've got to be perfect. You've got to make no mistakes, because they don't very often. All the props for this one definitely goes to that stalker decoy, and you, Jonathan, for helping hold it up. This is my 3rd pronghorn buck, and probably my biggest one, I would imagine. Just a really beautiful buck, great representative of the area. That's about all I can say, man.